After 3 straight losses, you might be fair to wonder, is Scott Satterfield's seat getting warmer? I'm here to tell you, and I'm sure Chad Brendel will agree, that it won't be getting warmer anytime soon.
You are Locked On Bearcats, your daily podcast on the Cincinnati Bearcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Bearcats. My name is Jeff Carr, and I'm on Cincinnati all the time. I've been a season ticket holder for the Bearcats football team for 7 seasons now, and I've worked in multiple university athletic departments on a SID basis. And I'm glad that you're alongside me here today. Locked On Bearcats is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team, your Bearcats, every single day, and we thank you for helping to make Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in the country. On today's show, Chad Brendel is back, and later on, we're going to tell you who we got more confidence in. The Bearcats football team win a bowl game, or the Bearcats basketball team making it to the tournament? Big questions being answered here today. In just a few minutes, we are going to dive into what exactly has happened to this collapse, another November collapse by the Bearcats, but we will begin with Scott Satterfield, because that's all I heard walking out of Nippert Stadium on Saturday night. That's all in today's episode that is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege to save $20 off your first purchase. And joining us, as he always does this time of week, the man in charge of the best corner of the internet for any Bearcats fan out there. He is Chad Brendel. Chad, what you got for me, man?
That wasn't a fun weekend, Jeff.
It
wasn't
another quintessential Cincinnati sports weekend, right?
You know it's coming. Here's the sad part. That parlay that everybody bet.
Oh, I saw it. Oh,
it was only like plus 550 for 4 games for all the Cincinnati teams to lose. It was only 550. Yeah.
The Ellie parlay was bigger than that this year. For reasons why, I mean, he played on one leg, but wow, I
think we all knew it was coming, unfortunately, but yeah.
Sadly, yeah. There's a thing about playing in November that I definitely want to get to here in a minute, but the thing that everybody was murmuring about, the thing that everybody was rumbling about, and wondering about as they left Nippert Stadium on Saturday night, Scott Satterfield. And I felt like he built up a ton of goodwill through that 7-game winning streak. Has he lost it? Has he lost it all?
With the fan base, probably a good amount. And look, some of it is understandable from a fan perspective, right? Like, you go back to Utah. Utah was clearly the better football team.
Yes.
Utah had more talent. They were stacked pretty much across the board. They imposed their will on Cincinnati. Like, Utah was better.
Yeah.
Cincinnati was on par with Arizona and BYU. Those were not talent deficiencies that lost those games. And, you know, fans have a reason to be frustrated with that because it was execution, because it was performance related. That's not to say that Cincinnati has more talent than Arizona and BYU, because those are 2 really good teams. Cincinnati's on par with those teams, and they didn't play well enough to win. And ultimately, that falls on the coach. So I understand people being frustrated. Like, I completely get it. But he's not going to be on the hot seat. He's not getting fired. I 0.0% chance I see that as a reality, especially in a market where there's already 12 Power 4 jobs open.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go where does go look at the list. Where does Cincinnati fit on that list?
That's
in terms of where would they be in the pecking order of who they could get if they did move on from Scott Satterfield? It's not pretty. So, no. What it will do, and especially, like, they really, for the health of this program, they really need to win Saturday against TCU.
Yeah. Feels like a must win for more than just this year. And
yeah, that's the thing.
Like,
because if they lose,
all that,
going into, it makes the offseason a lot tougher than necessary. And go ahead.
I was gonna say like a 7-win team. What, they go to the Pop-Tart Bowl? Like,
no, that would be best case. Like, no, I don't think they'd go to the Rate Bowl or whatever the bowl is in Shreveport, Louisiana. Like, if you can win this game, the worst you do is you tie for 5th in the Big 12.
Right.
You can live with that. Yeah. Like, obviously,
forward. Right. It's a step forward this year for sure.
And what you have shown, if you do that, Jeff, you came in at the absolute bottom of the league, right?
Right.
Bad year 1. Year 2 didn't go exactly as planned, but you moved up a couple steps. If you can jump up to top 5, 6 in the league, you have shown significant growth in your 3 years in the conference. If you lose, you fall down to a tie for 8th, 9th, 10th in the conference in that middle group. And it doesn't feel like the momentum is real, is sustainable. And you're replacing a lot of seniors to play a lot of football for this team.
Yes.
You feel like you're kind of starting, back from here instead of up from here. So it's not a damning victory to his tenure or a damning loss to his tenure to lose to the number 11 team in the country at home.
Right.
You finish on a 4-game losing streak for the regular season. Now, even if you get, like, you're going to go to a bowl game, but at 7-5, you're not going to get a quality opponent, really. So then even if you win the bowl game, people are going, yeah, but look at that. Look at how the season ended. It just, for the health of the program, it would behoove them to go to Fort Worth and win Saturday. And it would make my sanity for the next 9 months a lot better.
And I've already seen, unfortunately, FanDuel doesn't think they will. They got them 4.5-point dogs going into this, which I guess it's not horrible. What do you think? Like 3 points? I know it's the NFL. You get 3 points. I don't know if it's the same in college, but like home team gets 3 points just on principle. But like I feel like there's a lot of folks looking at this and saying 1-10 in November. What's to say it's not going to be 1-11?
Yeah, they've got to go win. Yeah. Go play good. For the problem the last 2 weeks, Jeff, they haven't played good, clean football. Why did they have a 7-game winning streak? They didn't turn the ball over. They converted in the red zone. They kept teams out of the end zone. They played. They had balance between run and pass. We've not seen that in the last 2 weeks. They haven't had any of that. They've turned it over. They didn't get 4th and goal from the 3. They were 1 of 3 in the red zone. Like, all the pillars of what made them successful have melted away at home against 2 equal level opponents. Yep. And TCU's, and again, about at the same level. They're 7-4, Cincinnati's 7, like, they're right in the same tax bracket. You got to go show you can beat that team.
Right.
You have to.
And especially
Sonny Dykes is their coach. Come on.
I was going to say, especially Sonny Dykes. They got it, because they're talking about, they are talking about the same things. I've checked in on my friend Darian Gray over on TCU. They're talking about the same things of what it sounded like we were going to be talking about had the year been a little bit less than what we've seen. Yeah. They're talking about, does Sonny Dykes need to go? Are they going to hear some sort of thing about how changes are being made to the program in the coming year? And they're just not sure that they're going to get that, especially if they win today, because TCU won last week, and so they're coming in on a bit of a reset as far as their momentum goes. And if they win again, then it feels like they're going to finish the year on a high note. So that's going to be a key thing for me. And I think that it starts with a guy that we've seen very little of these last couple of weeks, because there's definitely been some key plays that number 11 has needed to catch the ball. And Joe Royer just has not been there. We'll talk about that next. Get your home ready for the holidays with Wayfair. Whether it's decorations, whether it's new furniture, maybe you need a furniture refresh, Wayfair has you covered. In fact, my office, my recording studio here that you see on the camera, and if you're listening, you can hear me talking from, it's pretty much all Wayfair. This cubicle behind me, Wayfair. My desk, Wayfair. Shelves, bookshelves that are behind the camera that you can't see, Wayfair. Wayfair's got amazing prices on some great furniture for your home, and whether you're looking for holiday decorations or whatnot, they've got you covered with all of that, and great holiday sales to boot, because all month long they have up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas for Wayfair's Black Friday deals, because they're happening right now. Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com now to shop their Black Friday deals, and again, that's up to 70% off some items. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. Thank you for making Locked On Bearcats part of your day, and thanks for helping make Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in the country. All right. I haven't seen enough of Joe Royer, and I cannot tell, and I want to get your take on this, because I can't tell if that's defenses are just blanketing him, daring them to throw it anywhere else. I can't tell if that is he's hampered by an injury or something like that. Like, what happened to number 11, dude?
I'm tired of hearing, oh yeah, we got to get Joe Royer. We got to get Joe the ball. At one
Get him
point,
the ball.
Jeff, at one point Saturday, they were 1 of 10 on third down. You have an NFL tight end. You're struggling on third down. I don't care if they had Sauce Gardner underneath and Troy Polamalu over the top. You got to find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, you have to find him as one of your best players. He has been virtually non-existent this year. I mean, I think Noah Jennings has better numbers. That's not to take away from Noah Jennings. I think he's been a great player for UC this year. He should not have better numbers than Joe Royer.
No.
It's 3rd and 6. Go find number 11 and get the first down. You're 1 of 10. So miss me with the Tuesday press conference. Yeah, we got to get Joe the ball more, and get Joe the ball more.
Right. Stop telling me about it and just do it. Right?
But, hey, it's Marvin Lewis, baby.
Yeah.
I see better than I hear, Jeff.
Yeah. And because it feels like the last memory that I have of Joe Royer making an impact was that big catch and run against, was it Baylor? I think it was against Baylor.
Yeah.
It feels like 84 years ago at this point. Like it just feels like, and also too, like 2 of the most forced throws that Brendan Sorsby has had this year are not to Joe Royer. They're to Cyrus Allen. Those 2 picks that he's had in these last 2 weeks. It's like, if you are forcing a ball, force it to number 11. Yeah. Well, yeah, but
you have one of the best punters in college football.
Right.
Quit with your 37-yard arm punt and throw the ball to Joe Royer and get a first down.
Right. Because it feels like if anybody's going to, like, beat their cover man, box him out, get a nice jumping catch, like, it's going to be him. And if he drops it, if it's knocked out of his hands, then whatever. At least you go down swinging, trying to get it to your best guy.
I agree. Look, it didn't matter as much when they were winning, Jeff. Things were working. Yeah. The offense was clicking. Everything was hot. Spreading the ball around, keeping everybody happy. You've lost 3 games, and Joe Royer has, what, 4, 5 catches in those 3 games?
Yeah, I was going to say, we were talking about that one stat where it's like every time they've lost this year, he has 1 catch. And so then he got 2 against BYU. So it's like, oh, well, they don't really change much because I think he was only targeted twice or 3 times.
Yeah,
so it's
only
like
targeted twice. It's
not as if he's being targeted a dozen times and he's just not getting the ball. Like, they're just not looking his way. And I think that it feels like it's almost as if they've gotten lost in their own game plan of like, okay, well, so-and-so's a good weapon and we can get this here and we do this there. And it's just like at the end of the day, make it simple. Get the ball to number 11 and let him do his thing, because it almost feels as though I don't think that scouts see it this way, but from a fan's perspective, it feels like they've tanked his value going into the draft.
Yeah, I mean, the draft stock thing is it's not overly going to matter. That the scouts are going to look at the tape, they're going to look at the combine, they're going to, value the interviews, all that stuff. But what I love the idea of having an offense that spreads the ball around, throws it to the open man, keeps everybody fed. But you're starving right now, and you're not feeding the main guy. Like, get him the ball, get him involved, and then guess what? Teams will do even more to try to take away Joe Royer, and then you can really spread it around again, and things start to open back up. Now, they've played 3 great defenses.
Yeah.
So I understand that it's not going to be as easy as draw it up, throw it to Joe. But at some point, you have to say, here's our Joe Royer play this week on 3rd and 6. And it doesn't matter. We're throwing it to him. We're going to let him go to work, and we're going to throw him the ball, and we're going to trust him to make the play, and we're going to get a first down because we're 1 of 10 on 3rd down. And that stinks. And we need to be better. And we're going to throw it to 11. Quit telling me how much you want to do it. And do it.
And do it. The other thing that I have...
Do it.
The other thing that I have a question about, too, and it's along the same line, is the line. Like, is the line fine? And I don't know why I keep rhyming there, but the line seems fine. It doesn't seem great. Like, I kind of thought a few weeks ago they might be great, but they kind of just seem fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing great defenses. So you're not going to be as dominant as you were prior to that when you were just playing okay defenses. The good news is TCU is just an okay defense. So you hope things can open back up on Saturday in some ways. But you're not going to dominate BYU, Arizona, Utah. You're just not going to dominate those defenses because they're really good. So you have to take some of that with a grain of salt. Now, like the Arizona game, they couldn't really do anything after the first quarter. You can't have that. And that's on the line. That's on the receivers dropping passes. That's on Sorsby making a couple bad decisions. Like, there's plenty of blame to go around in that group. But no, I mean, the line's been good. They're still not giving up sacks. Now, BYU's run defense is outstanding. That's their bread and butter. Like, Arizona's pass defense is their bread and butter. BYU's run defense is their bread and butter. So, I mean, I get not having a great rushing day against them, but Sorsby did throw for 300 yards and didn't get sacked.
Right.
So the line is doing their job. They're very good, but they're only a piece of the puzzle. Right. So everybody needs to work together to play well, and that hasn't happened enough.
And there's one, and I don't, no, I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna say that one till a little bit later on the show. I was gonna ask a question about Brendan Sorsby, but it's not pertaining to this. But I just think TCU feels like that last opportunity for the offensive line to prove that 7-game streak wasn't just a fluke.
Yeah. They need to get a win. They need to.
Yeah. So many reasons why Saturday needs to be winning. Glad there's a 3:30 game. That'll be nice. Nice middle of the day. It seems very even to end.
You should come join me at the Holy Grail with the rest of the Bearcat Journal community.
I'd have to see if I can. I think I might be able to. Might have to do that. But thinking of what's coming next for football, and let's also rope basketball into this because we haven't talked about them just yet. Confidence levels for both, and who are you more confident in coming up next? The next time you go to a sporting event, a live event, maybe it's a concert, whatever it is, use Game Time. I use Game Time. I'm actually going to the Cyclones game coming up here in a few days. Use Game Time to get it so easy. You see your price up front, you see your view from your seat, boom, ready to go. And they've got all kinds of great offers all throughout the season long. You can find their zone deals, and you can find the last minute deals and stuff like that, because they've got great last minute prices when it comes to tickets for every event. But if you're following the Bearcats down to Arlington or Fort Worth, sorry, wrong part of Dallas, or if you want to go to the bowl game, wherever that might be, whenever the Bearcats get placed into a bowl, then you can use Game Time to get there. And they will show you exactly what your view will look like, making the ticket buying process simple. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. So great prices that you know are fair, and $20 off your first purchase with the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. What are you waiting for? Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. I encourage you to keep the conversation going with us after the show is over. You can follow me on X at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs, and you can follow Chad at Chad Brendel. No Fs in that. And then you can also follow the show at LO_Bearcats. All right. As we look forward, and I think, part of what the bowl game is and who they play definitely factors into this. But having seen the Bearcats, and I kind of liked how they played against Louisville on Friday night. Yeah. I get the fact they didn't make a ton of baskets in the second half, but I loved how much they limited Louisville's offense, and that is a national championship contention team, no doubt about it. Do you have more confidence in the Bearcats basketball team getting to the tournament, or the Bearcats football team win a bowl game?
People are going to get mad at me for this, but probably winning a bowl game. I've said it.
A lot more variables than basketball. Yeah.
Well, the problem is, Jeff, I really like the basketball roster. I think they have a chance to be good. I think they have a chance to be elite on defense. They need to be better on offense than they have been so far this season. But if you remember, a year ago, they were incredible on offense the first 5-6 games, and that wasn't who they really were, because they had an old team that had played together, and Simas Lukosius made like 70% of his threes for, a month.
Right.
And then they came back down to earth as people got continuity, built their team, had played some games, and Cincinnati kind of stagnated. I didn't like the roster build last year. I like the roster build much more this year.
I agree.
But the problem, Jeff, is when you go into Big 12 play, Houston, Arizona, Texas Tech, Iowa State, BYU, Kansas.
Yeah, Houston twice.
But just in general,
right.
Those 6 teams, and if you add Baylor, who's looked pretty good, you have 8 games against those 6 teams. 7 games against whatever it is. 7 games against those 6 teams.
Right.
What's your?
Can they go 3 and 4?
Do you have any faith in that?
Faith, no. Hope, yes, but the hope's not a strategy, so no.
I mean, you're talking 3 top 10 teams and 3 top 25 teams when Darren Peterson is back at Kansas, which he will be by the time conference play starts. So your work is cut out for you. Well, when you have Baylor, it's 7 teams, so that's 8 games. So 3
can you
6,
go? Yeah.
The problem then becomes, you have 10 games left. If you only win a couple, if you only win 2 or 3 of those games, now you got to win 6 or 7 of the other 10.
Right.
And
you can't have bad losses in conference.
The bottom of the league so far is looking stronger than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I think Kansas State with PJ Haggerty looks really, really, I mean, he is getting buckets. Oklahoma State looks good. West Virginia, I don't know what that was last night, but we won't talk about that. But there are more teams in the middle than I thought there were going to be. I thought the bottom of the league was shaping up to be pretty bad. They're getting some wins. So none of those games are going to be, the gimme that you thought they might be. So the path for basketball is daunting. Do they have the talent to win the games? Yeah, but you got to go out and do it. So, the Georgia and Clemson games become huge.
Right.
Because those are teams right around your area of KenPom that you're going to need for your resume in the non-conference, because you couldn't get the Louisville win. And right now, we don't know what happens Saturday. I don't know if the football team's going to play in a bowl. Like I don't have great faith in what that looks like. So
could be like Middle Tennessee or something.
Right. Like if you end up in Shreveport playing Army, although the 3-3-5 defense against Army would not make me feel warm and fuzzy. But yeah, I feel a little bit better about football winning a bowl game than basketball making the tournament as things currently stand. But if the offense picks up in basketball and they start making more shots, cut down the turnovers, shoot a better percentage from three, then the offense starts to rise and becomes a complement to that number 2 ranked KenPom defense instead of a detriment to that number 2 ranked KenPom defense.
The thing that makes me hopeful on the offensive side for the basketball team is that these last 2 games, Kriisa has gone 3 for 16 from behind the arc.
Really good looks.
And I think he's going to be a lot better than that. It's kind of the opposite of the Simas Lukosius thing, right? Like it kind of feels like he hasn't shot up to his potential. And I think that water will find its level there. And as long as he's got some good support from the other guys, like I thought things looked really good. Or not really good, but things looked on the better side of my expectations against Louisville. And so I'm hopeful that they can build on that as the season goes along. And I think that as long as they go 500, let's say 1 game better than 500 in conference play, then they make the tournament. And I don't necessarily know that it has to bode like it doesn't depend on how they play in the conference tournament. But you're right. Like that 10-game stretch is going to be everything for their season. Yeah. Especially if they're not perfect in the other 10.
There's only 8. They went back to 18. So you've got the 8 games against the top 7 teams and then 10 games against the other 8. And I just look, man, I don't love the thought of having to get 4 wins against the top 6 teams in the league.
Yeah.
The odds of that happening going 4-4, because then you're probably not going to beat any of those teams on the road. So you have to win all the home games against the top teams in the league, including Houston. Yeah,
needing a win against Houston doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't.
Needing a win. You would like a win. You don't want to have to need that win. So yeah, I still think that they're a tournament team. I really do. But
I think they have tournament talent. They're going to have to play like a tournament team.
I agree with your trepidations for sure. But I know this. We got 1 more football game in the regular season. We got a bowl game that's going to happen like a month after that, wherever they're going to end up. So a couple of more football games to see this team play. I'm excited. I want to see them go out on a high note. And my closing question for you, because I think it was sealed against Arizona, unless I'm just completely off base with saying this. Is Brendan Sorsby coming back for another year?
I don't know that answer yet. I mean, I think he would be wise to spend another year in college? Probably. I think the way he's played, I think there was some momentum building where he would have been maybe a day 1, day 2 pick. I think right now you're probably more looking at like day 2, day 3. If he has a great senior year, especially it looks like it's going to be a pretty crowded quarterback class this year. I could see him elevating his stock. The question that's unknown, Jeff, if he was to go in the portal, there would be a lot of money waiting for Brendan Sorsby. He has been very loyal to the Bearcats. That's not to say I think he's going into the portal, but when somebody slides into your DMs and there's a number that happens to be on that DM. How much
And
do you listen?
letters like SEC or letters and numbers like
Texas
Big Ten.
Tech? Like
Yeah.
he's
Or,
from
yeah.
that area, like,
Yeah.
and they got lots of money. Like, who knows? So it's just it's a wait and see thing. I think the odds are probably in favor of him coming back to Cincinnati, but the odds definitely aren't zero that he's anywhere else. So I go play well at TCU. Make him feel warm and fuzzy again about the Bearcats, and then see what happens from there. I suggest that.
That's what I'm hoping for. And that's what we'll be looking for this week. Chad, I appreciate you. You always follow everything Chad's got going on over at Bearcat Journal and a lot of great other guys doing Bearcats coverage over there. But that'll do it for us here today on this episode of Locked On Bearcats. Thanks so much for making us part of your day. And make sure you check out Locked On Big 12. Drake Toll's got you covered with all the conference goings on every single day. He's just like Locked On Bearcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.